What is up, guys? Flashfire here, and today I'm bringing you the Week 2 team builder for the PFC. This is for the Hampshire Hawluchas versus the New York Kyogres, who are coached by Darkflame, whose channel link will be down in the description. Now, New York Kyogres have a 1-0 record, we have a 1-0 record, so today we are looking to push them into the 1-1, and we are going to rocket forward into the 2-0 record. That's the plan anyway. But before we get into the team builder and my opponent's draft and how awfully terrifying it is, I'm going to remind you guys that the battle will be uploaded in 2 hours from this video being uploaded. So later today, if you want to catch that, come back then. Now, before we get into the team builder, like I just said, we're going to go over some changes that have happened to our draft. So we traded away Haxorus because too much dragon is bad. We also traded away Zygon a couple of weeks ago. So we only have one dragon type now, but that's not the end of the world. I think that's pretty good. We swapped it away for Roserade as well, which is really, really nice, actually. It gives us some great hazards options, some nice special bulk, a grass type, which is great, because we now have Fire, Water, Grass Core, and I'm super happy about it. And it also gives us some really nice offensive presence and typing with Poison and Grass, which is great stuff. Then next, we have swapped our Jellicent for a Rotom Mow, which is another grass type, which is great, because we're really weak to fire now. I'm so good at team building, guys. But it also gives us an electric type, which we were missing, which is great. Like, what I've done is I've seen the things that are missing, and I've, like, doubled up on them. So I picked up 2 grass types this week, and I picked up 2 electric types, because we've also got Lantern right there, which is fantastic in the format. Great water type. Gives us a Fire, Water, Grass Core with Arcanine, Lantern, and then one of Rotom or Roserade, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, the draft is very fire weak, so we're going to have to play around that. But that is the draft now. As you can see, we are using Mist, the Lantern, and Rotom, not a fan, today. So our draft changes are coming into effect immediately. Now, like I said just now, my opponent's draft this week is absolutely terrifying for me. He has 6 or 7 mons that he could bring, and in my head at this point, it's basically an auto loss. I am not confident about this match. Mainly because he has so many offensive threats that I don't have the bulk to check, but he also has a bunch of bulky mons that I don't have the offense to break. So it's just so painful. Like, okay, Mega Garchomp, Staraptor, Scarfarachi, offensive Zapdos, and Feraligatr. Absolutely horrible against my draft. They could all run coverage and setup moves to beat most of my draft. Bulky Mew and bulky Dusknoir stop a lot of my potential checks to the offense. Like, I figured if he was going to bring all those scary offensive mons, I could bring something like Unburden Hitmonlee and break through, but Unburden Lee only does 50% to bulky Mew and bulky Dusknoir, so, like, what am I going to do? It's just horrible. So, yeah, there are, like, if he brings Stallbreaker Mew, Scarf Staraptor, even Scarf Staraptor and Scarf Jirachi, and like Dragon Dance for Alligator, I pretty much auto lose. I have no check to Garchomp. My only check to Staraptor is Klefki, which has no reliable recovery, which is fantastic. I mean, Lantern is a decent check to Jirachi, but I don't think I have a check at all to Feraligatr if it runs Earthquake. Earthquake, Ice Fang, and Waterfall with Dragon Dance wrecks my team. I'm just so sad. So this is an absolutely terrifying battle for me to prepare for. I had no idea. Basically, I decided that there was no way in hell I was going to be able to check all his offensive threats. So I just decided I was going to bring an offensive team. Obviously, we have slight bits of bulk in Happy Keys and Mist, but I decided that the best way to kind of try and deal with this is to bring a really offensive team and put as much pressure on him as possible as early as possible. That's the only way I'm going to win. Because if I let him gain any momentum, and he brings, like, standard sets, I'm just going to get wrecked. Like, his draft matchup is so strong against mine. It's actually painful. So, the one thing I do have going for me, though, is that this is week 2 now. So I was able to go back and watch my opponent's week 1 battle, see how he played, see how he thought, how he built his sets, all this kind of thing. And I noticed that he was bringing some quite unorthodox sets. He was bringing offensive Mew, which obviously doesn't mean he's going to bring it this time, but it gives me a little bit of, it gives me hope. Because if he brings offensive Mew this time, I'm in a lot better of a position. So yeah, we'll see how we go. So this is the team we've got right here. So we're going to start off with the Latios. Like I said, guys, in my draft analysis at the very start of the season, I think this guy is ridiculously good in this format, and I'm going to be trying to abuse that as much as possible throughout the season. Mega Latios. We've got 192 and Timid, because that allows us to outspeed up to, I believe, the fastest thing on his team, which is Garchomp before it Mega Evolves. I remember things. It outspeeds up to Garchomp before it Megas, because obviously that turn he could outspeed and Dragon Claw me, and that would be awful, or Outrage, or whatever, and I would hate that. So the moveset we've got on here, we've got Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Ice Beam. The idea with this would be Ice Beam, Oko's Mega Garchomp, which is great. I was originally running Sub instead of Ice Beam, because I figured if you brought Stall Breaker Mew, which breaks my team, then I could Sub on the Mew, set up Dragon Dances, and Earthquake and Dragon Claw to victory. But I decided that although that opportunity would be fantastic if it happened, it might not. It might not happen. I felt like I would have a higher win rate if I ran Ice Beam, because it Oko's Garchomp outright. I'd much rather be able to switch this guy in and straight up kill the Garchomp than have to set up to kill it, because +1 Dragon Claw just barely picks up a KO on Garchomp. So, like, it's a roll, I think. So that's a thing. But basically the idea was get prior damage on the rest of his team, get a Dragon Dance up, sweep with Earthquake and Dragon Claw. That would be the dream situation here. And then Ice Beam is just there because it Oko's Garchomp. It has a really good chance to Oko the Staraptor. I think it does more damage to physically defensive Zapdos. So like Mixed Latios is pretty good, and it takes hits from everything relatively well, especially with the screens that we've got on Happy Keys. So that was the idea here. Now, like I said, we're bringing Klefki right here. We've got the Light Clay Klefki with screens, because I figured, like I said, my main win condition here, because of the offensive pressure he can put onto me, my idea here was I was going to set screens with this guy, hopefully paralyze the Staraptor, and then set up with the Latios and try to win. That was the game plan, or is the game plan. And then we got Foul Play on there, because if he wants to set up an SD with the Garchomp, we can Foul Play him and make him really sad, because I think it does like 70%. Plus, it just generally does decent damage to his team. It's better than Play Rough, I feel, because he has Steel types and stuff like that. And obviously, like I said, this is my check to Staraptor. So it takes, I believe, 30% from any one hit from Choice Scarf Staraptor, and I think 45 from Banded. Yeah, that makes sense. And then obviously, once you set a Reflect up, it's even less than that, so that's great. Basically, the idea would be to get this in against Staraptor, hope he doesn't switch out and Thunder Wave it, and then just set screens and have a good time. So yeah, obviously Light Clay is on there because we want as much opportunity to, not get Oko'd by possible Banded Staraptor or +2 Garchomp as possible. That's the plan anyway. And then the next most important thing on my team is this guy. We have Heal Bell Lantern with Skull Volt Switch Toxic, because basically, I figured this guy would be a really, really nice check to all the special threats he has. It would be a nice check to the specially offensive Mew if he brings it. The Jirachi actually gets stopped by this guy, which is great, even though we have no physical investment. It stops the Zapdos, the Moltres, the Houndoom, the Rotom Fan. So it's just a good time, really. Got the Volt Absorb on there in case he wants to pull any Volt Switch shenanigans. And then Toxic is there just because a lot of the things that this guy checks, well, I say a lot. Mainly the Rotom and the Zapdos, it can't really do anything back to, so Toxic is just there to be like, ha, we have stuff. And then we have Heal Bell in case they want to Toxic us back, basically. That's the plan. Now, some of you may have noticed by now, we don't have any hazards on this team, and I'm really sad about that. I want to put hazards on here, but I don't have the room. My only real hazard setters are Roserade and Excadrill, and I really don't have room to fit those guys on the team. Plus, they're both kind of sad about Choice Scarf Staraptor, Mega Garchomp, offensive Mew. Like, it just doesn't, it's not good. So I decided I'm not bringing Hazard this game, although it would have been fantastic. It would have guaranteed the Dragon Claw Oko'd Garchomp a +1. Not that we need it because we have Ice Beam, so that's irrelevant. It would have guaranteed Ice Beam, Oko's Staraptor, all this kind of stuff, but we're going to move past it. Yeah, like something I didn't mention. The Dragon Dance is on here rather than Calm Mind because I want to be able to outspeed Scarf Staraptor, because otherwise it just ruins my day, basically. So I can get set up before the Staraptor comes in. That's a great time. Now, Boombox, I feel like is going to be coming every week of this competition. This thing is just so freaking good. Now, this week it did matter that we brought other coverage moves because obviously he has the Jirachi and he has the Diancie, which both resist Boom Burst, which is like, what? xCloud didn't click Boom Burst? Hacks. I don't understand. But, so Boom Burst 2-hit KOs everything on his team except for Jirachi and Diancie. So we have Surf and Fire Blast for those two. Boom Burst has a really good chance to Oko the Garchomp, but if I want to guarantee it dies, I can Ice Beam. That obviously guarantees an Oko. And yeah, there's not really much else to say about this guy. I'm running enough speed for, I believe, Rotom. Obviously, Scrappy is on there for the Dusknoir, because that thing is fat and I want to hit it. And he has no sound-based moves, so there's no point in running Soundproof. So that's my thinking there. And then, like I said, this is going to be quite an offensive team because I'm scared and I can't really do much. So we have Choice Scarf Rotom Mow here, just as a kind of panic button, really. If his Garchomp is breaking through stuff, I can bring out this guy HP Ice. If his Gator has got a Dragon Dance up, I can bring this guy in Outspeed and Leaf Storm. It also gives us a bit of momentum. My opponent doesn't have any ground types outside of the Garchomp, which I can kill with this guy. So we can do the Volt Switch shenanigans. And then obviously Will-O-Wisp is there just for some great physical attack control. We can burn the Garchomp, the Staraptor, the Jirachi, the Feraligatr, the Dusknoir. Burning all of those is fantastic. And the Linoon, actually, because, you know, Belly Drum Extreme Speed is spooky. So yeah, and this guy actually outspeeds the entire team, except for the possible, obviously the possible Scarfers, Mew. Oh, Mew could be Scarf. I didn't even think of that. Mew could be Scarf. Staraptor, Jirachi, all those guys, they could be Scarf. It does importantly outspeed +1 Gator. So yeah, I like that because it's like if he gets the Dragon Dance up, it's pretty scary. I can just bring this guy in and be like, no, Leaf Storm, you die, and then 95, 90% of the time I don't lose. So that's the plan there. And then finally we have Choice Band Scizor, because like I said, offensive threats all over the place, and none of them like Bullet Punch, except for Jirachi, which really doesn't like U-Turn on Lock-Off. So that's what that's for. And then I didn't really feel like the fourth move slot needed to be a coverage move, so I just chucked Defog on there because we have no hazard removal. And if he got hazards up and gained the momentum early, I'd just lose. So it's always possible to get the momentum back, it's always possible to get rid of hazards, but having to do both is just like... So, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting match. I really, really want to win this one because I just... I want to be 2-0. I want to get, like, a really strong start to the season. Because obviously I'm new. I want to be like, ha! Look at me go. I'm good. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how this goes, guys. Obviously, come back in an hour or two for the battle, which will be postcomm. And... I guess I will see you guys there. Remember to drop a like if you want to see the Hampshire Hawluchas pull out another win. And I will see you in a little bit.